Hey everyone, Joe here from the Minecraft Alliance, and welcome back to an episode of reviewing Doctor Who, guys. And in today's episode, we're going to be reviewing episode 3, Thin Ice. But before we do, let's go ahead and have a quick recap of last week's episode. So to start with, we went to a really nice looking place, which looked really futuristic, and we met some really nice looking robots that actually, to be honest, turned out to be not so nice robots. But then the Doctor and Bill kind of saved the day, they reverted everything, they wiped their memories, and then we had this really funny joke about them wanting rent. But then we got to the cliffhanger where they were looking at an elephant on the Thames. And ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, that was last week's episode, TMA Reviews, Doctor Who Series 10 Episode 2, Smile. Now it's time for this week's episode. We will be reviewing Thin Ice, this week's episode, or it was last week's by the time you're seeing this, but anyway, on to the plot summary. Okay then, so obviously then we go back to where we were at the end of the last episode, where they had the shot of the Thames. Then the Doctor confirms to Bill that yes, it is the Thames and it's not some alien planet. Then they get dressed in some period piece costumes, which in my opinion look really good. Then the Doctor meets a conner who's trying to pickpocket him, and they end up successfully doing that, and they end up stealing his sonic screwdriver, which is pretty bad. Bill and the Doctor then run after them and try and stop them, obviously because they've stolen his screwdriver, and exchange looks, as you can see here. Then we get our first shot of the aliens, whatever you want to call them, that are sucking people underneath the ice. Then the boy runs away, they run and meet and then run away again, and then he ends up being caught up by these lights. He ends up marvelling at the lights and just staring at them, as you can see, but then, shock horror, he gets sucked under the ice, like we see a man earlier in the episode. He nearly uses a screwdriver, but the Doctor goes for the screwdriver instead of trying to help the boy, and therefore he is sucked completely under the ice, and the ice returns back to its normal state. Bill is really not happy with this and gets quite angry, I will say, with the Doctor, and tells the Doctor that he needs to save him. Then they have a really long conversation about whether the Doctor's killed anybody before and what it's like, and watching people die. Bill's reaction to this is pretty strict, Bill's reaction to this is pretty, stern, and she doesn't like it. And yeah, and then they move on to meet the woman, the girl that didn't, Kitty, I think her name is. Then they decide that the best thing to try and do is to try and go and see this monster. So they go underneath the island, underneath the sea, river, in order to see the island, the creature, Then they meet this man at one of the places where Lord Sutcliffe's workers are, and they talk to him, and the Doctor pokes fun at him, saying that they should have a password just in case people are dumb enough to tell random people the information. Then they go and meet Lord Sutcliffe himself, and the Doctor talks to Bill and basically says, "Don't lose your temper." But then the man comes in and he's incredibly racist to Bill, and this is how they identify him as a human. And the Doctor punches him anyway, so he's like, "Don't. You know what I mean? Be nice," and then the Doctor's not nice. Then his cronies come in, then they tie them up. Then they take them back onto the ice fair, where they they tie them, I should say, in one of the tents, and the Doctor uses his screwdriver in order to attract the lights, and then they suck under one of the evil men, and Bill has to try and get everyone off the ice with the help of Kitty and another girl. And while this is happening, the man, Lord Sutcliffe, is trying to blow everything up, as you can see in this shot, but it doesn't work, or so we believe, because what's actually happening is he's blowing up the chains of the creature that's underneath the ocean, the river. Then he runs onto the river to try and find out what's going on, and then, as you can see from these next couple of screenshots, he, as the creature emerges from the river, gets pulled under the river, which I think is quite cool, and it's quite a fitting end to Lord Sutcliffe. Then Bill runs over to one of the ledges, the Doctor helps her up, and they kind of hug, as you can see here. Kind of hug, but obviously the Doctor's still quite wet, so you wouldn't really want to hug him. Then they invite the thievers round and help them get some. Basically, they give them somewhere nice to live. Then they return to the office, and Bill is. Nigel brings them the tea, and then he realises that they've gone, in his words, off-world, which the Doctor apparently isn't allowed to do. So yeah, then that happens. Then the Doctor says, "Alright, we'll flip a coin. If I win, then I get to go off-world. If you win, and you leave me alone. But if you win, then I stay here." The Doctor wins, and Bill and Nardole goes back down to the vault. But before this, Bill does check her phone and looks up this thing, basically. She looks up this event, but she can't find anything, and the doctor explains to her that the human race just doesn't, you know what I mean? They don't accept these things. And then, like I said, Nardole goes down to the vault, and something is trying to get out of the vault. And that's this week's episode, guys. My review is coming up very shortly, so enjoy that. Okay, so firstly comparing this to Sarah Dollard's other episode, Face the Raven. Obviously this wasn't such a big episode, because obviously the last episode she did was Clara's departure, but I still quite like this episode, but I just don't think it lives up to Face the Raven. But it's not to be expected to, because this is episode 3 of a series, whereas that was episode 10, leading into the 2-part finale, and was basically Clara's death and a companion exit, or what we assumed to be at that time. Comparing this though to other episode 3s, once again, only from Moffat's run. Episode 3 of series 5 was Victory of the Daleks, I think that was what it was called, and that was pretty, just basically bring back the Daleks. Episode 3 of series 6 was The Curse of the Black Spot, which I really liked. Episode 3 of series 7, part 1 was, I can't tell you because I can't remember. It might have been The Power of 3, but I think that was episode 4. If it was, then I like that episode. Then series, oh my god, I'm doing so bad at this, aren't I? Series 7, part 2, again, can't remember, I do apologise. Series 8, episode 3 was The Robots of Sherwood, which was an okay episode, I will say. Was a standalone. But series 9, episode 4 was, of course, the episode 3, so it was before the flood. No, it wasn't. It was Under the Lake. Oh, for God's sake, I'm doing so bad at this. So comparing this to other episode 3s, I think the only one that could potentially come close to this was The Curse of the Black Spot, because I really liked the story in that episode. I thought it was really good. The misunderstood siren sort of creature that I just thought was really good. So yeah, guys, overall, really good episode. I would give this episode, what would I give this episode? I don't think it was as good as episode 1, or even really episode 2, but it wasn't much worse than episode 2. So I will give it a 7 out of 10, having given Smile a 7.5 out of 10. Coming up next week, guys, we've got a really good episode with David Suchet. It is Knock Knock, which is coming out tonight when you should be watching this. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you all in the next episode of Green Doctor Who, guys.